Good morning, Kabroda crew. Welcome back to our live stream where we go over, going over the battle box and just getting set up for today, and just checking out what trades we got for today. So we're just gonna jump right into it. I see there's a couple people here already. But yeah, we'll just head into it. Check out what's happening. Yesterday on Monday, kind of had a little bit of a drop down from that Sunday price action. I believe that was. I guess we kind of had that rise and then the drop after that Sunday price action, kind of sideways all weekend. And then we continued up over the course of last night. So yeah, maybe y'all got some trades yesterday. But hopefully we could find some for today. So we're going to head on. I'm going to just jump right into it and head on into our ChatGPT and get our daily market recap going. So first up, if you've been here before, you know we got those screenshots coming in. So we got that 4 hour, 1 hour, 15 minute, and 5 minute screenshot that we're gonna have to get. We also gotta get those FRVP levels, and then the 30-minute high and low, as well as our new screenshot. We'll get all of those right now. So head back to trading view. I'm going to go ahead and take my lines off for right now. And we do have this nice flag forming right here on the 5 minute. As you can see, something like this. That'd put us at 114.5 or so. But get those screenshots first. So I'm going to just auto click all of these. And then take my first screenshot of the 4 hour. If you don't know how to take a screenshot on a Windows computer, it's going to be Windows key, Shift, and then S all together. And that'll give you the screenshot tool. You can just go ahead and screenshot it. You could also look up snipping tool in your search bar down there. So we got 1 hour and the 4 hour, 15 minute. And then the last one we're going to grab is that 5 minute. So we got all those in there now. All 4 different screenshots from 1 hour or 4 hour all the way to 5 minute. And then the next thing that we're going to do, or the next thing I like to do when I'm setting this up, is say FRVP levels. And then I go down 1 or 2 and say 24 hour. And then shift enter again, and I'll say volume area high, point of control, and then volume area low. I just type volume VAH, POC, and then VAL. And then we're going to go down 2 again and do warning, and then copy those 3 volume area high and those 3 different levels. And I'm just going to copy those and paste them right under the warning thing that I wrote on there. And that'll be where I'll paste my levels once I get those. So next we'll head back to trading view. Go to those. We'll go to the 1 hour just to make it easy for us. And then we'll go down to 4 from the cross. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then down to the fixed range volume profile. And we're going to go to yesterday, so the 8th, at 7 o'clock in the morning to 7 o'clock today. And I'm going to go ahead and turn my lines back on, at least my 24-hour lines. And if you don't already have these on your chart, you can just go ahead and hit Alt-J, and that'll give you an array just like the ones I have. And then you can go through the different, you can change the color, size of it, if it's a regular solid line or a dashed line. And then you can go into settings and change the text and also change the name of what it's called. But I already got mine, so I'm just going to go ahead and drag and drop these onto the levels. So red's going to be our volume area high. Purple's going to be our POC. And our volume area low is the bottom one. And then we'll move that FRVP levels to 3 o'clock today. And I'm going to turn these off real fast. Turn on my morning ones. Drag and drop, and then we'll make sure that they're close to. And these don't have to be super exact, because if you've watched our channel before, you'll know that all resistance and support zones are all more of areas. So as long as you get it pretty close to where that line is, that'll basically show that, that'll show the area at least of where the support or resistance is. So we got all our lines on there now though. So you can go ahead and close that FRVP level thing, and I'm going to turn off my morning ones, turn back on my 24-hour ones. And we can just copy and paste the levels from here. So go to settings, coordinates, and we'll just grab this level here and we'll paste that right into our GPT on volume area high. And we'll just repeat that for all the rest of the lines. POC, paste it in there, and volume area low. And then we'll do the same thing for the morning ones as well. So I'm going to close my 24-hour ones, bring out the morning ones. Same thing, settings, coordinates, and we'll copy this and paste it into our levels. Alright, so now we got all of our FRPP levels in there. So we're ready to move on to the next step, which is going to be the 30-minute. So before I move on though, I'm going to head back to my battle box and I'm going to do some more shift tab to get myself down a little bit and then say 30-minute candle. And high on the line below it, and then below that we'll say low. And this is where we're going to put our high and low for the 30-minute candle. So we'll head back to trade view 30-minute. You can leave these lines on here and take them off. I'll take them off just to make it look a little more clean. And then we're going to go to 7:30, and right under where it says Kabroda up there on my screen, it'll have the high and the low, H and L. There'll be some numbers next to them. So H, it'll be 112,780. So 112,780. Then we'll head back there and get the low. That's going to be 112,522. So now we have all our different levels on there. And then the last thing that I'm going to do is go grab that news screenshot. So if you head to cryptocraft.com And this won't be on screen, but I'll show you all the screenshot from it. It's not too interesting today. We just got two smaller news events. And I'll just paste that right in there. But that's essentially what it looks like. You got your two different news events here. And then this yellow little rocket ship type thing is going to be the impact that they have. So yellow is a light or medium impact, and then red or like a more orangish color are going to be a higher impact. Red being the highest, and orange is kind of like the middle between yellow and red. But these are lighter impacts, so I'm not too worried about these. But yeah, we got all of our levels in there, so we'll just go ahead and send that in, see what happens. Hopefully y'all had a great weekend and got to do some fun stuff. Alright, our market recap's ready. So if you've never seen one of these before, you got the different time frames here with kind of like little description about what's going on in each of them. You got your different levels, strategy outlook, so different things to watch out for or ways that we might be able to trade this. And we'll kind of skip this section because we're going to do a more in-depth version of it in a second. And then you got your news alerts and all the different things there. So basically it just takes the screenshots, put it into written form. Execution considerations. If you put your weekly zone resistance stuff in there, it'll be right here. And then you got some YAML levels that you can just grab right out of here. If you're interested in putting the different levels on your chart, like the daily resistance, daily support, that kind of thing. We'll start with this market review the market review thing right here of the different time frames. And we're going to head back to trading view and I'll kind of talk y'all through them. So I got this 4 hour here. GPT says price is climbing back to the resistance zone near 113K, testing stacked EMAs overhead. Momentum oscillators show early recovery, but it's capped at the 200 EMA, which is right about there at that 13, almost 14K range. Momentum I just read that. Structure equals rebound attempt after prior sell-off. So, essentially, one thing I do see right now that I'll point out is we got this flat top right here. Typically when you see that double hump like that, you get a dump. And let's see if we got any, not a lot. So what I was looking for here is some divergence, because that's kind of what would tell us that we're gonna have a possible down run here. But there's not really, there's a tiny bit, but I don't even know if you'd really consider it. It's not enough, I don't think, to really be worried about. But basically what the GPT is saying is that we're climbing up here to the 13K, the big number, which is kind of where we double topped right now, unless we get a higher high on this candle. But we double topped essentially at that 13K range, which is what we're kind of running into. We got the 200 overhead, and then that's kind of that's the next big line in the sand kind of thing, is that 200 level. So we're looking for that break of that. And then we had that previous down run here, and we're getting a nice little bounce up. Or you could even say this little down run here, getting a nice bounce up. Possible recovery, because we did get that divergence last week You can see this goes up and this goes down. So whenever they're opposite, that means, or whenever they're, it's really divergence is just a difference in the RSI and the chart. So right now the RSI, or right here I guess, the RSI had a higher high and then a lower high, whereas our chart had a lower high and then a higher high. So they're just opposite of each other. But you could have that either way. So you could have, this could be flat price action and then this is down, which that would be the same thing, divergence. Or you could have this be up or whatever. Just as long as it's something different than what the chart is doing, essentially, that means that there's divergence or some kind of something happening. If it's on the top, it's going to be bearish, and then the bottom will be bullish. Just not a good example really around here. I guess if you look right here, we got these two, it's going down, and then on here it's basically flat, so we got some divergence there. The more opposite they are, the more strong it is too with divergence. That's really it for the 4 hour. So we're kind of watching that 200. That's kind of the land in the sand. If you want to throw a line on there, you can do that. I'm going to also throw my different levels up there. We got that POCs are like stacked again. This is like the second time I think that's happened recently. So I'm just going to take off my 24-hour one. Excuse me. But that's kind of what we're looking at right there with the different lines. And then we're just watching for that 13 level, and we could also throw one at 13, but really these are kind of already set up there. So we'll head to the 1 hour next. For the 1 hour, the battle box says we got higher lows intact, but rejection wick is near 112.8k to 113k range. It shows that sellers are defending the volume area high. So we're kind of running into this area. Their sellers are defending this range right here, essentially. Momentum's flattening, RSI is rolling sideways. So you got the MACD kind of starting to curl down. RSI is really just that sideways, so it hasn't really picked a direction either way. It is in that overbought zone. And then you got stoaches are curling down, but as we always say on here, stoaches for the 1 hour, 4 hour don't matter too much because it's just too large of a time frame really for that indicator to be super accurate. So we're not really looking at that one. Heading on to the 15. The battle box says pullbacks are forming after a strong push. Price consolidation is just above the morning POC at 112.56k. The volume tapering after the spike equals a compression phase. So essentially we got this little pattern here. Like I was kind of talking about earlier on the 15 and the 5 minute, as you know from earlier, they're really showing that nice flag pattern. So we're looking for a breakout to the upside, and then obviously that 113k range, or 113, almost 114k range is going to be our first kind of watch. And if you remember from the flag earlier, we were looking at that 114 500-ish area, so not much higher than this here. So you could get that push up and then the spike up if we do end up breaking out to the upside. But right now it hasn't picked a direction either way. You got MACD showing like we might curl back down and create another some more bearish downside, but it is kind of curling up, so we'll see what happens with this candle. RSI is actually on the bottom of its slower moving average, so we're looking more like more to the downside on that one. We are in the overbought, but we're also almost right at that middle line, so it really could flip either way. For right now, though, it is looking a little more bearish. And then you got Stoches are just firing off the bottom, but they're kind of flat as of right now. They fired and then they're kind of just curling over flat. Going to the 5 minute, we got a micro rejection at 112,700. So that top of our flag here. We're testing support shelf at 112.6 short term. EMA is starting to curl down and small flag is forming. So that's our flag here. Overall, 5 minutes looking a little more bullish. You got the RSI with the faster moving averages is under, or was just under, the slower one, but we are kind of showing an uptrend here, slower uptrend, which is good. And then we got the Stoches showing that we might have some possible down run, but they are starting to curl right here, so maybe we'll see another little pump up, get us above that flag here. Sitting on top of the weekly volume area high at 112,500. Yeah, so that's pretty close to the bottom of our flag here, Street Maker. So we might be looking at, maybe it's more like something like that. And we kind of started to get a false breakout there and broke back in. So we're hoping for that possible breakup then. So we'll go over those trade strategies in a minute. We don't have any news events for today, so nothing really to watch out for on that. Something to watch, that execution consideration. We got moderate volume early compressions around the POCs. We prefer the 50-minute confirmation, so that's just typical battle box stuff. Whenever we're trading, we always prefer that 50-minute close above and then retest on the 5-minute. What macro wall is not directly in play today, but 113k zone equals high rejection risk. Alright, so excuse me. Yeah, we're not looking super crazy on anything. Nothing like crazy is gonna happen today. At least in like news wise or anything like that. So it should be a pretty decent trading day. So we'll kind of see. Let's build a battle plan and kind of see what the battle box has. It's thinking on trades today. Oops. Alright, so the first one's going to be that typical 15-minute break and close above the volume area high. And then we'll be targeting that 13,300 level will be the first one. Then it's actually saying 13.5 is probably the closest that we'll get to that 4 hour 200. If we lose that 112 700-ish area, so if we lose that volume area high, then that's when we're going to be looking to get out. Short breakout is the same thing but to the downside, so if you break that volume area low with the 15-minute candle and then get a retest, we'll be looking for 112,200. So that 112,200 level, that's going to be it's going to be that 5-minute 200 essentially, and then the next level down is going to be that 24-hour volume area low if we're looking for it. Spirit Maker is saying it doesn't look great for movement today. 113,600 to 114k target, or just break down to support 111,500 to 111k. So he's thinking they were looking more like a breakdown. But I'd agree, the doesn't look great for any kind of movement today. But we'll see. We'll get which way we get that breakout. The other trade that is on our battle plan is kind of just that chop neutral. So if we stay in between the volume area high and the volume area low, we're just kind of, you can kind of trade up or down either way. Indicators on different time frames showing 50-50. Yeah, so that is one thing I was noticing as we were going through the different time frames is like the 5 minute is showing more of a up trade besides this Soches, I guess. And then you got 15 is looking more down to me, I would say. We could flip and go up on both of them, but for right now 15 almost says down while 5 says up. And then 1 hour is kind of just flat, and 4 hour was saying up essentially. It's kind of just like continuing up is what 4 hour shows. So we'll kind of see what happens. If we get that break of that flag and that retested the volume area high, then I will be looking for that upside trade. But as of right now, it still could go either way. It just kind of depends on which way the charts start to pull it. And once they start to go a direction, they'll probably start to line up as well. Because the way they're kind of sitting, they're all like 5 minute. I guess it doesn't matter that much. It could flip pretty fast. And then you got 15 is like right on the edge of flipping bullish, but it also could continue bearish as well. And then 1 hour, I believe, is close to the same. 1 hour is just sideways, I guess, so it could flip either way. And then 4 hour is on the upside, but if all the lower ones start flipping like that, it's gonna flip down as well. So really, we're looking for that up. We're looking for it either way, I guess, but I'm thinking it's gonna go up. We'll have to kind of watch and see what happens. So here, so those zones are kind of, you look on top side, you're looking to 13,300 and 13,500. So like right below this are 200 on the 4 hour. And then if we're looking at the downside, we're looking for that 24 hour volume area low, and then like right above it at 112,200. And that 111,800 area where the 24 hour volume area low is kind of the support that we're watching for potential bounce traps on. Volatility watch, there's not really anything worried about volatility. One thing to be mindful of is, I guess, that one news event, I believe it's China's CPI. I believe that's what it's saying, but CPI releases at 8:30, so we got a possible volatility wall. Some tactical executions, so we got normal volume, or if we have normal volume, we require that 15-minute confirmation. At low volume, we reduce the size of our trades for 5-minute entries on the breakout triggers, and then it has some different things you could do, scaling, so just some more advanced, I guess, trader techniques that some people use to minimize risk. If you want to check out our battle box, though, you can ask it all about those different things, and it will let you know, but I'm not going to go too in detail on it here. But yeah, that's really kind of what we're looking at today. So we'll see if we get that breakout or the breakdown. But either way, we're kind of looking to trade. Not looking for some huge moves today. I mean, we're looking at that 13,500 area, which is not I mean, that's barely a move for Bitcoin. Or we're looking for that breakdown to 111.8, which, yeah, again, not a lot of move. Streetmaker's thinking we might be able to, if we do end up dropping, we might drop even lower than that at 111.3. And if we get that, that'll be a decent move there. But yeah, overall, kind of break down to this previous low. Overall, though, not anything crazy right now. Kind of have to just watch and wait, per usual, I guess. But if we do get that breakout, looking at that little trade, and we get the breakdown, we're kind of looking at the same little bit. But yeah, hopefully y'all had a great weekend, and hopefully y'all have a great Tuesday as well. We'll be releasing that recap for yesterday's trading and here in a little bit at 10. So if you're interested in kind of checking out what we were thinking yesterday or what's going on, just with the battle box yesterday, you can check that out. We'll have our live stream again tomorrow at 8 on Wednesday. And then we'll also have the levels from today going up on X if you want to check those out. So yeah, hopefully y'all are having a good day. And yeah, just happy trading, y'all. Hopefully y'all get in some decent trades today. But we will catch you guys tomorrow. See ya.